Welcome to the Life Leadership Podcast with myself, Leila Singh, all things coaching, career and personal branding. This podcast is for ambitious career professionals like you, wanting to create a life of choice and freedom, to be, do and have more through overcoming limitations, to develop new perspectives and insights, and to redefine your success, be that in work, health, relationships, and so much more. Hi there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world today, and welcome to Live with Leila. My name is Leila Singh, and I'm an executive career and personal brand coach, and I work with career professionals typically in the technology industry who are looking to overcome their limitations so that they can uncover their real potential and create new possibilities, both in their career and in their life, all whilst showing up as the best version of themselves. So, what is today's topic all about? It's all about your LinkedIn profile. And so I'm not going to position myself here as a LinkedIn expert. What I want to talk to you about today is simply the fact that if you are somebody who is looking to advance your career, who is in the job market or thinking of entering the job market, then it is essential to work on your LinkedIn profile. Why am I talking about this today? Because I am regularly having conversations with individuals who are in the job market, wanting to advance their career, to secure a new role, whether that's internally or externally, or are busy applying for roles online, hearing nothing back, and left wondering why and getting really, really frustrated. So some of this might be obvious to some of you, maybe those of you who spend more time on the platform and who are engaging with others, who maybe post about what you're up to, about your organization, about your industry, and all of that good stuff. But there are many of you out there, I know for a fact, who maybe just check out what other people are posting, don't really engage, and maybe haven't spent a lot of time on putting your profile together and developing it. And that's okay, because we don't know what we don't know. And you don't have to be someone, I'm not about to say, right, you've got to start posting every day and commenting on everyone's posts and all that. If that's what your thing, that's great. But if right now you're someone you've got a profile on there, perhaps it's pretty basic, you're not looking to suddenly start engaging with everyone on LinkedIn, and that's okay too. However, you want to advance your career and you are in the job market, I really advise you to take note today, because having a powerful LinkedIn profile is essential towards advancing your career. So why is that? Well, let me explain first of all what LinkedIn is not. It is not your CV. Why do I say that? Because I see so many people who copy and paste their CV or a proportion of that into their About Me section. And what you see is a whole long list of all these things that I've done and all my certifications and qualifications. LinkedIn is not your CV. It is not only about sharing your accomplishments, experience, and a long list of skills and qualifications. And I'm referring specifically to your profile page here. It's great to actually share your accomplishments, your experiences, whether that's professional or day-to-day in the workplace, and also the skills and qualifications and certifications that you acquire along the way. Yes, those are important, and it's great to also post those day-to-day as they're happening. Okay, so then you'll be top of mind for others. What I'm specifically referring to today is your profile page. And what your profile page is and not is your CV. It's not just here I am, and here's a long list of these are the things that I've done. These are my skills, right? No, it isn't. Why? Because you want people to land on your page and you want them to stay on your page. Okay, so what LinkedIn is, it's your shop window. It's your opportunity to really share with the world what you have to offer. It's your sales page. It is your marketing of you. No, we talk about personal branding. This is a big part, a big facet of your personal brand is how you're showing up online. And as I said, this isn't about, I'm not suggesting or advocating for you to start putting loads of posts out there and commenting and so forth. All I'm talking about right now is your profile. So within that, it's as your shop window, as your sales page, what is it that you solve for people? What are the problems that you can help your companies with based on your past experiences and the value that you bring to the table? Okay, so this is what I want you to slow down to and think about. What is it that you bring? In other words, what I invite you to do is to put yourself in the shoes of recruiters, of hiring managers, and also if you're someone who is actively connecting with your network, staying in touch with people, and maybe leveraging that when it comes to moving around in your career. So maybe you're speaking to someone and they work at a company you'd like to work for, and you want to speak to them and see if anyone they know is hiring in the organization, for example, or just somebody in your broader network who may know somebody who is looking to hire someone of your caliber, right? And by the way, the reason I say that, if you're someone who tunes in to me regularly and listens to the podcast, you will know that I talk about this all the time. We don't want to take what I call the passive kind of traditional approach only when it comes to advancing your career. You also want to be really proactive. You want to have conversations with people. You want to be top of mind. So you want people to be thinking of you when an opportunity comes along. And by the way, that's not only externally, that's internally as well. Because if you're in a large organization, it may not be that everybody, all the hiring managers know you. And right now, that's okay. That's another conversation when it comes to your personal brand. But actually, if you're working in the same organization and somebody is hiring, maybe someone mentions your name, or maybe they go onto LinkedIn and start having a look, or the HR people start to, do a search and they see, oh, there's somebody in the company already who might be a good fit. They're looking at your LinkedIn profile, right? Your CV is the tool that has all of your skills, your experiences, where you worked, your accomplishments, and so forth. And yes, there is space for that on your LinkedIn profile too. And that's further down. It's further down the page when you scroll down. And that's where you get to put in all of your wins, your accomplishments, the experience you've got, and the skill set, right? But what you want is to draw people in to your page. So the question to ask yourself is, once you put yourself in the shoes of the people who are hiring, the decision makers, the people who are searching on LinkedIn, what would be driving them to your page in the first instance? What is going to draw them in? And a big part of that is your tagline. So under your name in your profile, you have space to put what most people, or many people I see, put is their job title. In fact, what you maybe want to be considering there is, what is it you help people do or organizations to do? What are the problems that you solve? So for example, I'll talk about enabling career professionals in tech to advance their career, right? So if I then comment or post, people see the first part of that tagline, and it might draw their attention to them wanting to check out my profile. And it's the same with yourself. So think about your tagline and something that really stands out and really reflects the value that you bring to the table. That will drive people to then click onto your profile. And then you want to ask yourself, well, why would people want to stay on your page? So if they go to the first section that you typically see, if you're not set up as a creator and you just have your standard profile on LinkedIn, is your about section, so the about me section. And what I see a lot of people do, the mistake they make is, again, copy and paste from the CV, or they just list a whole long list of skills and experiences and certifications, and that's it. Like, I don't care. As someone who's hiring, okay, it's all about you. There's hundreds upon thousands of people who've probably got all of the same skill set. Why would I want to stay on your page and read more? What is it that's making me curious? What is it that has me wanting to know more about you? And this is what you want to be thinking about in terms of your profile. So imagine if you're submitting applications online, whether it's on LinkedIn or otherwise, for jobs, and you're not hearing anything, remember this, particularly if you're submitting it through LinkedIn, the first thing people are going to do, or the second thing, is to go click on your LinkedIn profile. And if there's no effort been put in to creating a strong profile, in other words, really positioning yourself as this is my sales page, essentially, of what I offer, the value that I bring, how I can help you, why would anyone take another minute or two to read further, to reach out to you? I'm not saying it's right that a lot of companies don't respond. I'm not suggesting that at all. But given the number of applications that companies are receiving for one position, they have to have a selection process. And if they're going to your LinkedIn profile, which most people will in the first instance, and there's not a lot going on there, and it's not really, you've not really completed it, you're not really talking about everything in there and really positioning how you can help that organization, they'll go to the next person. It's very easy to do. So the questions I said to think about once you put yourself in a hiring manager's shoes is, what would drive them to your page? Think about your tagline or your banner, right? Then why would they want to be staying on your page? Why would they want to read more? Why would they want to get curious to know more about you and what value you have, and maybe even reach out to exchange a message and then possibly get on the phone and have a quick conversation? What would have them want to really reach out to you and connect in conversation? It isn't enough anymore to just have a good CV. It really isn't. And I think that's something that I'm seeing many people need to get up to speed on. It is about what you're doing online. And so you'll hear people say, oh, we're interviewing people. They'll go and Google them, right? But actually, from a career perspective, often they'll just go straight onto LinkedIn to look for you. Or if they Google you, your LinkedIn profile will come up if they've put your name in, quite often near the top of the search. So they'll go click on that anyway and look to see what's going on and what you're talking about in terms of yourself, your value, again, your accomplishments and so forth. But think about it when you're crafting your about section, is how you can draw people in. I always recommend to my clients to start with a question, because a question creates curiosity. Ask a question that addresses their problem, right? So if, for example, you are a finance business partner or commercial finance person, or you are a salesperson, whatever role it is you are in, or if you're a tech person, what is often the kind of problems that you solve? What is the value that you bring that helps your organization? And then craft a question or a couple of questions that reflect that, because then those people who are looking for someone like you will get drawn in by your questions. And then they'll think, actually, they get me, or they get this company, and they get the problems that I'm experiencing. And I want to know more. Can this person really help me? So talk about the problem. Talk about how, on a generic level, kind of what the solutions can be. And then start to talk about yourself and where you have demonstrated experience of this, being involved in solving this problem, or bringing people together, or creating collaboration, or leading teams, or whatever it might be in that type of role that you're looking for. What is the value that you bring? Draw upon the experience that you have, but talk about it more in a conversational, sort of some short, brief paragraphs rather than a bullet list. So those are the things that you want to think about in the About Me section, and also have your recommendations, which is further down your page. Reach out to people, whether it's people you're working with currently or in a previous company, who you've worked well with, you've got a good relationship. Ask them to craft a short recommendation for you, and then look to pull out maybe a couple of key quotes that they've said and pop that in the About Me section that supports and reflects the person that you're putting yourself out as in terms of your experience and value. So it shows that somebody else thinks the same of you too. It's showing that it's not just, oh, well, I think this about me, but this person's also said it. So yes, they can scroll down the page and look at your recommendations, but make it easy for people. Just pull out 1 or 2 sentences and pop them up there in there, so it supports what you're already saying. And then when you start to talk about the me and the I, and I've done this and I've worked here and I've got all of this great experience, that comes towards the bottom of the about section. Because the first half of that is a piece where you want to, after you've drawn them into your page initially with the keywords, your tagline, your banner, and so forth, is then why are they staying on this page? They're reading the About Me section. They're getting curious because you've asked a question that resonates with them or the role that they're hiring for. Then that makes them want to know more. Does this person know enough that they could be a good fit? Why am I more curious to read it? What have you actually done? And then you continue to go through the page. And then at that point, the curiosity is piqued. So maybe you go look at they rather go look at the experience that you've had, the places that you've worked. They'll scroll down and check for recommendations. So this is just some simple key pointers towards really taking time. And I say that because it does take time. Even for me, when I've updated my about section, not written it from scratch, but actually updated it, it can take me a couple of hours to really think about it, think about what the messaging is I want to get across, how I can get people to want to continue to read along the page and to want to reach out and connect with me and maybe suggest a conversation. And it's exactly the same for you. That is what you want to be thinking. And you might be saying some of this is obvious, but I can assure you, I have conversations every week with people about this where they maybe simply haven't thought about it. And like I said, it's okay because you don't know what you don't know. You maybe just haven't considered it before or realized the power of having that strong profile online. So I really invite you, if you are in the job market or you're looking to in the coming year, to really start working on it now, because it does take time. And then you can then just continually tweak it as you're going along and it makes it a lot easier. And by the way, if you're not in the job market, I would still recommend that you work on your LinkedIn profile. Because why wait? Why leave it until you suddenly need a role? If you've got a good profile now, people are more likely to gravitate towards you, to reach out to you and put roles and opportunities in front of you. And for me, that is the best place to be, is having people come to you with opportunities rather than you having to go chasing them. And a way to have that happen is to use your sales page, your shop window, as I call it, to really sell yourself. Ultimately is what it is about how you help organizations, teams, the people that you work with, whatever it is, based on the kind of work that you do, and have people get curious so they want to connect with you. Or they're maybe not hiring right now, but they like what you've got to say, so they'll keep you top of mind. And when I talk about personal brand, this is a key part of it, is having you top of mind for others. The other thing to bear in mind, and something I advocate for all the clients that I work with, is rather, and I mentioned this earlier, rather than only going down the kind of reactive route of chasing for jobs that come up, is actually reaching out to people in your network, connections, maybe managers that you've worked with in the past who've moved on, to have conversations if you're in the job market. And again, if you're asking for help or you're asking for favors for someone maybe who works in a company that you'd like to explore and get an interview at, you want to ensure you're not wasting those favors and not letting people down. You've got to put in the work before you ask for help. And this is really important because I've seen people do it. It's like, oh, whether with me or with others, and I've had people tell me this, is like, oh, you're working at this company and they're hiring for this person, and I'd really, be interested in interviewing for that job. Can you put in a good word for me with somebody? Okay, great. And, most people are really willing to help. But you want to remember the first thing they are going to do, and the first thing that the hiring manager is going to do, is go check you out, right? Before your CV's landed on the desk. You cannot just sell anymore through your CV, right? They're going to go and either Google you or go on your LinkedIn page. And therefore, if you're asking someone to recommend you, do the work first. Invest the time, invest the energy to make sure you have a strong profile. Because I can assure you that many people that I know, myself included, if you reached out to me and asked me to introduce you to someone, I have a very wide network of people, particularly in the tech industry. So if you came to me and said, oh, you know, I'm really interested in working for such and such a company, you know, who do you know there who could maybe speak to about me? And, you know, you may be someone that I've worked with before in the past, that has been a client or whatever the situation. So I'd be more than happy to help you. But I will not do that if your profile isn't up to scratch, because it would reflect on me when I refer you to somebody and they look and they think, well, this guy or girl's not put any effort into this at all, but they're asking for a favor, but they're not putting any groundwork beforehand. It's like, what have I got to go on here? There's nothing much, there's no real value or selling, let's say, on your profile. So I really invite you to think about this, to take note of it, and to start implementing, whether or not you're in the job market right now, to start to really develop and hone your profile, and not just talk about me, and this is who I am and what I've done, but actually think of it from a reader's perspective, that you can keep their attention, that you can keep them wanting to know more, staying on your profile and becoming curious enough that they then choose to reach out to you to have a conversation, because that's where you create the opportunity. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions on this, whether this resonates with you, and what action you are going to take. So I hope that has been helpful. As I said, I shared this today because it is coming up so many times in conversations I'm having with people. And I just had a realization that it's a different angle to think about. Some of it might be obvious, some of it you may already be doing, or you might be thinking, oh, I've been submitting my CV for all of these jobs on LinkedIn, or asking people to recommend me into opportunities or to companies or to other people who are hiring, and nothing's coming of it. Why? A big possibility is the fact that you don't have a strong enough presence on your LinkedIn profile. So my invitation to you today is to go check out your LinkedIn profile, be objective about it, go through it, and really spend some time over the next coming week or two updating, refining, and honing particularly your tagline and your about you section, and then start reaching out and listing some recommendations as well on your profile. Those are some of the basics. That's not everything, but those are some of the fundamentals that you really want to be thinking about. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up now. As I said, I hope this has been useful for you. Until next time, remember to elevate your performance, maximize your potential, and create new possibilities by showing up as the best version of you. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already done so. And if you enjoyed and gained value from today's episode, then do please leave a review telling us your key learnings and what you enjoyed the most. And do please share this podcast with your friends and colleagues so we can spread the word on life leadership, creating a life of choice, freedom, and new possibilities. Connect with me directly on LinkedIn, and if you would like to learn more about how we can work together, either DM me on LinkedIn or email.